Hey, welcome back, podcast friends. And today's episode, I've got my beautiful wife with me again today, and we are wanting to talk about discipline because people are totally confused on what discipline really is and how if there's a goal that you want to start in order to achieve something, or if there's something that you're wanting to stop, then you have to come up with a system. You have to be disciplined, but discipline is not what a lot of people think. And so that's why we wanted to talk to you about this today, because discipline, it's not about willpower and it's not about grit. In fact, if you have to white knuckle something, that is not what discipline is. Okay. Discipline, it's not something you're grown with, you're born with. This is something that you mentally come up with a process to take care of things.
Right. And so, like you said, it's not in your DNA, which I think I probably thought that about myself. It's like, oh, well, I'm not a disciplined person, not realizing that disciplined people, maybe they know how to do this naturally, but we're going to tell you how to do this now. So you will understand. I think once you understand this part of it, it's going to be so much easier. And that's what we need. And it's really like you were saying, it's more like systems and not discipline. It's like we're white knuckling it all the time.
Right.
And we don't want that.
Right. And that's what we want to talk to you about. Basically, what discipline is when you design your own environment to make it easier to do the things that you want to do than to do the things that you know you shouldn't be doing. So discipline is something that it might suck in the moment, but if you don't have a system, if you don't have discipline, that's going to suck for the rest of your life. So you want to get something. And when you see somebody that's disciplined, it's not exciting. It is boring. If it's exciting, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but if it's exciting, then you're not disciplined. That is not a routine that you're in, because usually exciting things are things that you don't usually do. And a routine is something you do every single day. It doesn't matter how you feel, you just do it. So that's the whole thing. We're trying to get you to have a system. That's the whole thing. Coming up with a system of how you do things. And if there's something you want to stop, you don't just stop it. You have to replace that with something else. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, of how you put a system in place.
Right. So a system, so it's going to make it easier. And just like you said, we're going to be replacing things that you normally do with something else. And so one of those things that like we have done in our home is when you think of like, so we don't recommend snacking. If you guys follow us, we don't recommend it. We just 2 to 3 meals a day, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to snack. Snacking usually means you're bored. So one of the things that we have done is we don't have anything to snack on in our house, or
Nothing.
there is, but you have to like cook it like it's a meal.
Or they're healthy snacks that you don't feel
Right.
bad. If you've got some good healthy beef sticks, because there's healthy ones, that don't have all the sugar and seed oils in them, and then some that do. So if we stock our shelves with things that we don't mind, beef sticks, beef jerky, coconut, deviled eggs, whatever, put things in there that if you do want to snack on something, all you have are good choices.
Right.
And it's so easy. Now, that also means that doesn't mean you can't have something. Say, and one of the things that we're horrible about, if we've gone a long stretch and we've been really eating well, and we just want to go out and have something like Andy's frozen custard or something. That's a frozen custard place here. We do not keep ice cream. We don't keep any of that stuff in our house. So if we want to do something like that, we're going to have to go that extra step. We're going to have to put on our clothes, get in the car, drive all the way down to Andy's, get it, come all the way back, take our clothes off, yada, 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 yada. And so you have to work for it. So that's not something you're going to do every day. And that's what you want to do. You want to, when you're disciplined, when you're making a system, you want to make it so much easier to do what you should do and hard to do the things that you shouldn't do. And that's like what we said, just don't keep it in a house. If you want to do it, you're going to have to go that extra step.
Right.
And working out, that's another thing. Now, I know we talk about the working out on here, and that's working out is extremely healthy for your body. But if you're just trying to lose weight and you haven't worked out forever, working out is not your focus at all. You do not need it at that point of your life. But we do work out. And that's one thing that sometimes if it's really cold in the mornings and I want to get out of bed, I set the alarm and I go to get out. And then all of a sudden my wife throws her leg over me. And then I think, oh man, what am I going to wear to work out? Oh, and what workout am I going to do? And I can lay there in bed and think about all these things that tells me, really sleeping is better right now. And that's the last thing I want to do. So what do we do instead? What do I do instead? I have my workouts totally planned out. As soon as I do a workout, I set that same workout. I set my weights and everything for the next time I do that workout. So every single morning, I know exactly what workout I'm going to do. I know exactly what weights I'm going to lift. I've got my workout clothes. I set them out and I put them in the bathroom. So when I get out of bed, all I have to do is just go straight to the bathroom, put on my workout clothes, go out, grab my book because my workout's already set. So I'm not thinking about it. And I don't let my mind go anywhere. This is just what you do. You get up, you grab your book, you go downstairs, and you know exactly what you're going to do. So you want a system that you're going to do every single day, every single week. You're doing the same thing. So yeah, it's going to be boring, but if you set it up right, then that's going to be what's going to set you apart from other people who just tend to wake up every day and whatever way the wind blows them that day, that's where they're going to go.
And it goes back to our brain. He mentioned arguing with yourself. If you start arguing with yourself, your brain's going to win. Your brain doesn't want to get out of bed. Your brain knows you're safe in bed. Your brain doesn't want you to work out because it's hard. So don't let yourself. That's why you want to think ahead so you don't have to argue with yourself. You just get up, you either head out the door to go to the gym like we do. We go down to the basement. You just go immediately. So you can't argue with yourself.
So the whole thing, what we're saying, is you got to put a system in place. So the very first thing you can do before you put a system in place, first you got to figure out what is it about figure out what it is that you know that you want to either start doing or stop doing. And chances are it's going to be both. You're doing something now that you know you shouldn't be doing. You should be doing something different. So the first thing have to do is figure that out. So the first thing is get your calendar and just set aside 1 or 2 days, whatever it is, set aside. And on that day, you're going to sit here and you're going to be thinking about what exactly is it that I'm doing right now that I know that I should not be doing. That's the first thing you have to figure out. And then go through, and you don't just stop and say, well, I shouldn't be doing that. I'm just going to stop all of a sudden. It doesn't work that way. You've got to replace it with something else. That time is going to come, that trigger is going to come when automatically something's going to happen and you're going to fall back into your old way. So you need to be aware that trigger is coming and say, okay, now when this happens, this is what I do. Like for me, when the alarm goes up, I get out of bed. I don't lay there thinking, oh, it's too tired. Do I really want to work out today? Do I what? No. The alarm goes off. I get up, I get out of bed, get the coffee going, go in the bathroom. And right there, all my stuff is sitting there waiting for me. So I just put my clothes on, get my book, and then head out. So you want to do things that you don't have to think, because once you start thinking, you're going to start arguing with yourself. And chances are the child of you is going to win that a lot of times because you just start feeling sorry for yourself. And that's the worst thing you could do, because the only thing worse, just like I kind of said earlier, the only thing worse than feeling sorry about you now is if you're at the end of your life and you're looking back and now you're feeling sorry because there's all this stuff you wanted to do and you never did it because you never disciplined yourself to put a system in place. So that's what you want to do. You want to think about what is it about your environment right now that's keeping you from doing what you're doing. And that's what you need to be able to change that to come up with different ways that you think you can. And it's not willpower. It's not grit. It is willpower is like motivation. It's like a battery. It's charged. I'm going to do this. But that fades. You cannot rely on willpower. You can't rely on motivation. That's good for just a time period. But once you're in that motivated state, that's when you should be making your system. You're in the mood. You want to do this. How am I going to do this? And that's when you write out your system and you make a plan and you follow that plan. So really what you're doing, it's not motivation, it's structure. You've got to create a structure in your life. Right. So
yeah. And one of the things that we do, just as an example, is when we go out to eat, we're going to go with friends. We'll just pull up the menu on the website.
Yep.
We'll just pull it up and see what the food is. So we can already so it goes back to thinking ahead and knowing what you're going to do when you get there. So maybe you will eat before you go. And that way whenever you get there, you're not as hungry. Maybe you can make better decisions and you'll do something smaller, just get an appetizer, a healthy one, right, and some water. And then that's perfectly fine. But ahead of time, because if you don't look, You'll get there, probably be starving, and then you're just like, oh, what? Who cares? I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'll start again tomorrow,
Right.
when you're going to be more motivated, which won't happen. So that's one thing we do is I really do. I try to, even when we've gone to Italian restaurants before, we know they have meatballs, the chicken masala. And so we try to do those things.
Right. And that's the whole thing is planning ahead. Like she said, you may find out that wherever you're going to eat, maybe it's a party, maybe there's a big party and all there's going to be is cookies, candies, treats, and all that. You're like, I don't even want that. And if you go hungry, your chances are you're going to start munching on it. So what you do is you eat before you ever go, so you're not hungry. And then when you see it, don't start playing mind games with yourself. Just say, no, I don't want that. I'm not hungry. I don't want that. And that's quick. That's your prefrontal cortex. You could say, no, I don't want that. That's a thought process. That's you're on it. And then you could just avoid it. But once you get around to that little child heart, the little primal part of your brain, you start saying, man, that does look good. I wonder who made that. Ooh, that looks sweet. Oh, I bet that is wonderful. Once you get in that, you've lost it. You will lose that game every time. So again, you've got to decide what you really, really want to change. Come up with a system, come up with a plan on exactly what you want to do, and then you'll be able to do it. Some people go to Starbucks every day. For whatever reason, I don't understand it. It seems like a ton of money, but there are people who do that. And a lot of times that's one of the big things that people want to stop, because it's a lot more expensive than they even realize until they add it up. And they don't really need it. And it stresses them out because they're waiting in a long line before they ever get to work. And now they're going to be showing up late and yada, yada. Well, you could knock all that out. Say, well, I usually leave early so I can go to Starbucks and wait in line for a half hour. In that half hour, you could have done a very good walk. Just get up, nice, pleasing, outside, just be in nature, relax, think about the day coming up, think about your plans, make it relaxing. And then when you get to work, you're not all stressed out from being in line and having all this Java jolt before you ever get there. You feel more relaxed, calm, because now not only did you move your body like you should, you got out in the sun like you should, you're also, you're calm because you've been thinking out things that you need to deal with, and you know exactly what you're going to do when you get to work out or get to work. So that's just like an example. So what you really want to do is you want to structure your life with discipline. Okay. You don't stop. You don't stop all of a sudden something that you don't want to do. Now, some people can. In all honesty, in general, I can. I'm one of those people that I could just, if I know that I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, then I can just say, well, stop doing that. Right. My wife is not that way. Okay. She's got to wean, and most people aren't. They've got to kind of wean down, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Wean down in tiny, tiny steps. So as you're weaning, by the time you get to that final step, however many steps it is, now you're where you want to be. And we'll give you some examples of what we're talking about in just a little bit. But
yeah, I know one of the things that I had done as far as a system, this was years ago. I used to work thinking about him with the walking. I worked at a doctor's office. I worked on the 4th floor, and I was going to walk. So every time, we used to take this little break and we would go down to the x-ray area and, sit and chat. Well, instead of doing that, I decided I was going to start walking up and down the stairs. So we were on the 4th floor. We were 6 stories. So I went up to the 6th floor, down to the basement, and then back up to the 4th floor. And I would do that 2 to 3 times a day while I was working. So instead of going down and just sitting and chatting with the girls, which is good. I mean, but I didn't need to be doing that at that time. I needed to be doing something else. And that was super easy. Actually, I believe I was able to do that and still go chat with the girls.
So, where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right.
And that's one of the things when you're doing this, don't see if there's any one decision that you can make. Because what we're trying to get you to not do is have decision fatigue, where you make a decision. Because we make decisions all day long. Should we do this? Should we not do that? Should we do that? Where do we go? Blah, 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 blah. But are there any things that you can make one decision that will wipe out a bunch of decisions that you usually make that day? A perfect example is if you decide, I am never eating man-made food again with all its toxic seed oils and the sugar and high fructose corn syrup and ultra processed seeds, and you've decided, I will not touch that. Well, now look, as you go through your days, Do you ever decide, well, I wonder if I need to go to the vending machine and get something? Nope, I'm not eating man-made food. I wonder if there's any food over there on the break room table. Nope, I'm not eating man-made food. From box, bottle, bag, and can, because that's what people tend to bring in and put all over your break room tables is all this crud. Am I going to go out to eat afterward? Where am I? What drive-through should I go on my way home? You're not going to, because you're not eating man-made food. So just by making that one decision, not eating man-made food, you've just wiped out all these decisions that you tend to make all through the day, and it makes your life very easy. You don't have to decide. Another one, which we'll talk about in a little bit, or maybe we won't, because I'm going to talk about it right now, is planning your meals in advance. And we've talked about this. What we do is one day a week, usually Saturday or Sunday, we'll get out and we've got a specific place that on our phone, what are we going to eat? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we go through and together we're like, what do you want to eat on this day? Okay. What do you want to eat on this day? Okay. And so now we have every single meal for an entire week. And then we go through and we look, do we have everything in our refrigerator that we need to make this? And we do that with every single food item. Whatever we don't have, we'll put that on the grocery list, go to the store that day, get all the stuff that we need for all the meals we're going to have that week. And now every day, you don't have to worry about anything. You already know what you want to eat. You know when you're going to eat it. You know you have the ingredients to make whatever it is you're going to eat. So again, you don't have to worry about any of these decisions all through the week. It's very easy. You're in a system. That's what you do. You wake up early, you go to the bathroom, you put on your workout clothes, and that's already sitting there waiting for you. You grab your book that's already been filled out. You go down, you work out, you come out, you go to work, come home, and there you're already ready for what you're going to eat that day. So many decisions are just gone because you planned in advance. You've got a system of how you're going to go through your day. So,
and one of the things that I want us to mention here is that, so because we are, helping people with weight loss and getting off medications, is to just start with one thing. You don't want to start with a bunch of things.
Simple thing.
Exactly. So that's why we are like, if you have a lot of weight to lose, or like, don't exercise. I know he's given this as examples, but this is where we are right now. So it's like, don't exercise and just stick with the food part. Maybe for a month, see if you can do that. Plan every weekend what you're going to eat for that entire week. Just plan over the weekend and see if you can actually stick to that. If you can't, you've probably made it too hard.
Right.
And so you just need to make this as easy as possible.
Yeah. Don't fall for this. And that's what people do. They tend to like take a ladder and they want to go from the first rung, and they know they're heading to the 10. So they go to the first rung. It's like, well, that was easy. I'll go to the second rung. Whoa, that was nice. I think I'm going to jump up to the 10th rung. Well, now you sabotage yourself because you don't go all the way up to 10. You can make things so hard that you hate doing it. If you have to use willpower to get through something, that is not a system. That's not discipline. That's ego. That's ego. If you're white-knuckling it and it's something hard to do, it's like, oh, do I have to get up and do that again today? Then you set that bar down lower. Set it down lower. What is something you can do that is leading you to your ultimate goal? So maybe you don't take these huge steps at once. I think a lot of times people do that because they want to self-sabotage themselves, because really they don't want to change, but I'll try it. So they make it so hard. Well, I tried it and that was just too hard. You don't want to be that way. Don't be that way. If you really, really have a goal of where you want to be in whatever that is, whether it's physically, financially, health-wise, whatever it is, make the very first step a simple step, and make the next step a simple step, and the next one. You do not be thinking that this is too hard. This is too hard. I thought I could do this. I can't do it. All that means is rethink. There's obviously at least one more step in between where you were and what you're doing now that would have made that step a little bit easier. Figure out what that is, whatever that is. So you don't go by your feelings. That's it. Your feelings aren't going to do anything. Just baby step it. Like the girl that we learned this from, Layla Hermosi.
Yeah.
And
she was giving an example of this. So she was saying that her mother drank alcohol. She was an alcoholic, and she knew she needed to quit. And so finally, instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to go cold turkey, which is what she had been doing most of her life, she decided to just gradually change and to get away from it. So and Layla says it's kind of crazy, but this worked. So she went, so for her situation, drinking alcohol was the worst thing she could do. So the next thing she did was she started smoking cigarettes, which for some people, if you're trying to quit smoking cigarettes, it's not going to work. But hers was because she was an alcoholic. So she started smoking cigarettes. Then she went to vaping. Then she went to chewing gum. And then she quit all of it.
Right.
And so it was just, she didn't just go cold turkey. Some people can, but for the majority of us, we can't. We need to do something different. And so we had done this years ago. We had a party at our house, and Steve had asked his sister to bring bottled water, and she thought he meant the Perrier water, the sparkling water, which we had never had ever. Like, this is like 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago.
Probably was.
And so we never had it. So we actually opened one and took us a drink. It's like, oh, this is terrible. But she had like gotten a case because it was like from Sam's, or somewhere. We had a bunch of it.
And just so you know, the reason why we thought it was terrible was because we had been bad soda pop drinkers. I mean, I drank Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew like it's going out of style. This is back in the late 90s, 1990, whatever. And all I could think of is when you go to say you went to pizza and buffet, the kind of stuff that we used to do back then. Crazy to think about now. But go to the pizza and buffet, go to the soda fountain, and I go to get my Mountain Dew. So I'm sitting there and fill up my Mountain Dew, put the lid on, put the straw in it, go back to the table, and I take a big drink of my Mountain Dew. And it just so happens there was no syrup in the fountain that day, and all I got was carbonated water. It was disgusting. Not what I was looking for. It's like thinking you're going to be drinking soda pop and you drink milk instead, or vice versa. It's the same thing. And I thought that was disgusting. So now fast forward to where we are now, when my sister brought that over and we tasted that. As soon as I taste that carbonated water, I was like, oh, it reminded me of the fountain. It's like, we will never be drinking this.
Well, I don't know why. I think I was starting to see some videos talking about, getting off of sugar and, increasing the fat, just all the stuff we've been doing. And one of the things that people like about soda is the bubbles, is the sting that you kind of get on your tongue as soon as you take a drink. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try, because we have all this water in the back. I started just drinking that water just a little bit at a time. And the next thing I knew, probably within just a couple of weeks, I was like, oh, this is good. I was telling Steve, I'm like, you really should try this water again. It's really good. And then he did.
Well, the reason, because when I was so used to soda pop at that time, because I can shut things off, we were doing a program at that time that's when I became aware that soda pop was horrible. And I don't think I've had a drink of soda pop since then, since the year 2000. But at that time, I said, okay, I'm drinking water. So for 2 years, I drank nothing but water. And then we went over to a friend's house and we were going to have a drink, and they mixed a drink, rum probably, with diet soda. It's like, ugh. I remember 2 years ago, I used to hate the taste of diet soda. And I tasted it, I thought, well, that's not too bad after all. So then we started drinking diet soda, and then we found out all the things that's really not good with diet soda either, with all the artificial sweeteners and what they do to you. So that's when we moved over to plain water again. Well, now once I was on plain water, but I'd been used to the diet soda, when she brought the Perrier to me, at first I didn't like it, but then all of a sudden I thought, I got used to diet soda, and I used to hate that too. I've gotten used to other things that I used to hate. So I started trying it. And now, in all honesty, I mean, this is 10 years later, but we have some kind of sparkling water in our refrigerator all the time, because now we use it like a treat. Once a day usually we have regular water, but then we'll have the sparkling water as just a little treat. But that's what we're saying. Just find out where you want to go and just slowly step up. This should not be something hard. If it's hard, if you're white knuckling it, you're doing it wrong. You need to come up with a better plan that's going to get you to the same goal that you're trying to achieve. It doesn't take, it's just small steps. You never take this big step, just these small steps, as long as they're leading you in the direction that you want to be.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, is that you'll be following a plan. And that's what we've been hearing. It's like, it's not your feelings, of course, because we always talk about the feelings.
Yeah, don't ever go with your feelings.
So that's why you want to have this plan, because you're going to have feelings. Like, I do this in the middle of the afternoon. Like I am here working and probably wanting to procrastinate something I should be doing. I don't want to do it. So I get up, even though I know there is nothing to eat. I still go look in the refrigerator, look in the cabinets, and then it's like, well, I don't want a meat stick. Well, I don't even want deviled eggs. It's
I
like,
didn't know you did that.
and it's like, if you don't want those things, you are not hungry. You are procrastinating. You are letting feelings take over. And that's what you don't want. That's why following a plan
Right.
is.
And you'll know, because if you find yourself debating yourself, should I do this? Should I do this? You don't have a good plan. You should never have to be debating yourself. You should want to do it because it's so easy to do. It's harder not to do than it is to do it. So you might as well do it and you'll feel so much better about yourself. And if you do it right, you may knock out all these decisions you have to make through the rest of the day. It just makes your life easier. It makes your life boring, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being boring. If you've got some kind of plan and it's exciting and you're looking forward to doing your plan, that's not a good plan, because plans, systems, they're boring. You do the same stuff every day. Take all your thought process, all these deciding of what you're going to do that ahead of time, set your system in place, and then just start going through and executing your system. And seriously, if you find that you're doing your system and you start playing head games with yourself, there's another step between where you are and where you were that you're missing, that you need to go back and try to do that so you don't start playing all those head games with yourself. So it's not going to be exciting, okay? Right. But it's going to be extremely fulfilling. You'll feel so much better about yourself, really. I mean, that's what this is all about: getting the most out of life, enjoying life to its fullest, and feeling good about yourself. That's really what this is all about. Do you have to do anything we're saying? Well, of course not. You can lay on the couch your entire life if you want to. It's totally up to you, However, if you do want to go through life making constant changes to improve and enjoying your life the whole time, and in the end of your life looking back thinking, that was awesome, that was fun, I did everything I wanted to do, there's so much more I could do, but this is, I had a great life. That's all we want for everybody. We want everybody to be that way. And that's why we started wrote the book, did the podcast. There are not very many people at the end of their life that are on medications and can't walk across the floor without breathing, or up steps, or carry their kids or grandkids. Not too many of these are looking back at their life saying, I feel great, that was a wonderful life, I think I did it all right. Okay, so we're wanting to stop you from being that way. We want you to be proud of yourself, happy about the life that you've enjoyed, and enjoy the life that God's given us, because there's so many good things to do. So don't do this about feelings. Feelings are fleeting. Okay, this is about, do I feel like doing it or do I not feel like doing it? You just do it because that's the system that you came up with.
Yeah. And when you stick to it, we talk about this all the time, then you have confidence in yourself. You have what was that saying? What'd she say? You've got your back. You've got your own back.
Yeah, you've got your own back. Yeah, and that's what you want. Because a lot of people don't. When you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, what you've actually just done is lied to yourself. And whether you believe this or not, it's true. The more you lie to yourself, the more you say, I'm a liar. When you're by yourself and you think you're going to do something, you're going to say, I'm not going to do it. I've tried this so many times and I never do it. So I'm not going to do it. You don't want to think that you are a liar. You want to be your own best bud, your own person that's going to guide you to where you want to be for the end of your life. You want to feel good about yourself, because really that's what it is. You're trusting yourself that you come up with the decisions to live the life you want, to be the person that you want to be. Because at the end of the day, all you want is to feel good about yourself. That's all you're wanting to do. So feel good about yourself. Don't set your bar too high. Figure out where you want to go. Figure out your steps are going to get there. And if you have to decide, if you start playing mind games with yourself that you don't want to do that step, just realize there's another step in between that you're missing, because you made that last step a little bit too hard and you're starting to talk to yourself again. So go back, find out what's another thing that just along that same ladder, but it's a little bit easier, so you can get that system of going and you don't even have to think about it. It was already put in place. Now you got to do is execute.
Right. So I think that's the main thing right now. that we would recommend that you do is, what's one thing that you would like to make in your life a system, like whether it's the eating or whether it's working out. We have our phones today that we have so many great ways that we can get alarms sent to us. Like I like getting little notifications from my calendar that, like at 5 a.m. I'm working out, and by 6 a.m. I want to be walking. And then, you just kind of have things all throughout your day. And depending on how you like it, you do this. No, you don't have your alarm. You don't have it sending you notifications. You just look at your calendar.
Yeah.
Don't look at my calendar. I need to do that.
I like my calendar all the time.
Right. So however things work best for you. So just do that one thing and get a system in place for that one thing, and then you can implement other things.
And speaking of calendar, that's a system also. We used to have sticky notes all over the place. That did no good whatsoever. So now, if I think there's something worth putting a sticky note on it, I actually put it in my calendar. It's either in my calendar or it's on my to-do list, depending on what it is. But I look at that to-do list every single day. Every single day, I look, okay, what's this? But most things, I have a calendar. So I have an exact day and exact time that I plan on doing it. Then I don't have to work about it. I could plan something 3 weeks from now on a specific time, and now I don't have to think about it anymore. Because on that next week, because I always, on Sunday, I look all the next week. What do I have coming up this week? What needs to change? What do I need to change or whatever? And now I know what I've got ahead of me, and then I can plan the rest of my things around that. So even that is a system. You don't just write sticky notes down, they're going to get thrown away or hidden or put other things on top of it. You actually give yourself a date and time, say, that's when I want to do it. And if you can't do it that time, then change it to another date and time, but you keep it on your calendar until you do it. And only you'll know when, that's going to be. But anyway, we know we've said a lot today and everything. And I just want you to know, we are serious about this. We truly want you to feel great about yourself when you're by yourself. We want you to feel proud of yourself. So if one of the things that you're upset with is that you're either obese or you have type 2 diabetes, you're on kind of medications, you have hypertension, if there's something that you are dealing with health and you want our help, we would love to help. That's why I wrote the book. That's why we're doing the podcast. And that's why we actually have a newsletter that comes out every week also, if anybody wants a newsletter. But the other thing is we put together 3 different courses, and all these are to help you depending on where you are in your time of need as far as what you can do. So if you want to, you can look at our courses, or if you want, just click below in the show notes and click on the Weight Loss Solutions chat. This is just a quick 15 minutes right with us, and you can tell us what your goal is of what you want to do, and we can let you know if we think we have something that could help you and which of our 3 programs that would be. We are not trying to do this hard sell. We really just want you to help you. So if you don't need our help, that's fantastic. But if you want it, just click on the Weight Loss Solutions chat below it, get on our calendar, schedule a 15-minute talk with us, and we'll see what we can do to help get you to where you feel great about yourself as well. So do you have anything else, baby? Okay.
No.
Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening to us. Have a wonderful week. And as always, make simple, healthy choices to live a quality life.